13 years ago, on a short bus in a small town in Washington, two idiots met. A bunch of stupid stuff happened. We want you to listen to those stupid stories.
Welcome back to another episode of Living with Humor. I am your guest, Brock Terrano.
I am guest Brent Tomczak from Geek Variants, and with us today is a lovely musical talent that Brock happened to meet along his journey. Would you like to?
Yeah, Ruthie Craft. Say hi, Ruthie.
Hi, Ruthie.
The dad joke for the win.
I met Ruthie at Thrive a while ago. I can't remember. I'm not sure how long ago that was.
It's probably like 7 years, honestly.
Something like that, yeah.
It's been a minute.
Thrive was interesting. I stopped going at some point, but did you keep going or?
I don't know when did you stop going?
I think I went there for about a year, maybe.
Okay. I went there pretty religiously from age like 17 to 20 when I just moved out of state.
Oh, okay. But I still talk to do you remember Tony?
Yes.
Yes.
Tony. I can't remember his last name, but yes, it's all coming back to me. Yes, Tony Lopez.
Yeah, I still talk to him, but
yeah, I was buddies with him. He was great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
There were a lot of like really great great people I met there. Interesting people too, but also great people.
I'm pretty sure I was one of the weird ones. I happened to pop into Thrive, I want to say, for like maybe a month, maybe 2 months. And then I was like,
came with me a couple times.
Don't really. This was not where I wanted to be at the time. Like, yeah, this isn't for me. I'm out. It's like there's a lot of good believers here. There's also a lot of people I'm like, probably not here for the right reasons. I'm out.
Yeah.
But do you have any interesting stories from Thrive, or like what do you remember about it?
I remember a lot. I mean, I don't know. It was really my only source of social interaction because I was homeschooled and then I went to community college for the last 2 years of high school, and I didn't really have a social life at community college. So I mean, Thursday was like Thrive days. I literally counted the days every week till Thrive Day, till I could see friends and like have fun. The cool thing about Thrive was that I was always able to totally be myself, and like I could be loud. Nobody was ever told me to be more quiet, and like that was come to think of it, the only place in my life that I could ever be where somebody wasn't telling me to be quiet. Like even at home, it's like, okay, use your inside voice, you know. But Thrive, I could use my outside voice anytime I wanted, and that was really awesome for me, and it was really good for my self-esteem, you know.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. Oh, you know what? I did interesting anecdote from Thrive that has nothing to do with Thrive, but one of my best friends was a vegetarian for 10 years, and she decided that on burger night at Thrive, that was going to be the night that she broke her vegetarianism. And she ate an entire, we all watched it. I filmed it because it was a really big deal. She ate an entire burger and immediately vomited it up. It was really a good time. I was super proud of her, but she's been eating meat ever since. But it was like, it was a whole thing. So, there's a fun little anecdote. Every boy that I ever crushed on from age 17 to 20 was at Thrive. Cause again, no social life.
Yeah.
Man, I made some good friends there.
Yeah. Do you still talk to anybody from Thrive?
Yeah. Like Adrian is one of my best friends, and we met at Thrive 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
Kind of hated each other at first, you know, as women do, and then decided that she was cool and so on and so forth. The rest is history. I mean, I met my ex-husband there too, so
yeah.
Hence moving out of the country. Not country. I didn't move out of the country. It felt like that sometimes. Moved out of the state for 2.5 years.
Yeah. What was it like to move to Texas?
To Texas?
Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah.
I moved here in July last year.
Yeah.
So that was pretty brutal. My first week, I had tickets to see Jason Mraz at an outdoor venue.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that'll be fine. It'll be nice and warm. I won't have to bring a jacket. That's a great thing. Not only did I not have to bring a jacket, I mean, I think I sweat my entire body weight in sweat. Like it was, I've never actually felt so close to death in my life because I was just standing there, like knees locked with these high heel wedge sandals for 3 hours or whatever, or more actually. And then you're surrounded by, because it's a concert, you're surrounded by other people's body heat as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the sweat was getting my eyes and it stung and everybody smelled bad. It was really terrible. So I learned a very important lesson. Don't buy tickets to concerts in Austin in the summertime or the spring time or the early fall time. Really the only time is like November. So
Fully noted.
yeah, it was hot. Long story short.
But Brent, do you have any questions?
Why Texas of all places? Because I know the reason I went to the South originally when I lived in Georgia. Then I moved to California. It's like I went from humidity to dry heat, so it's like not kind of a lateral move overall. But why Texas? What caused that to be the place you wanted to have as home?
Because I wasn't necessarily moving to Texas, right? I was moving to Austin. Yeah. That was the main thing, was the music scene here, the art, the culture, the vibe, and actually I found another place where I could totally be myself. And I'm not too loud here. Like in general, sometimes at work, my boss is like, shh, but in general, I don't laugh too loud. I don't sing too loud. I don't play too loud. And oftentimes I'm not loud enough. Like that's awesome. It's like a safe haven for a dork like me and for a lot of other dorks. I think that would agree. There's a lot of diversity here. The weather is a lot better, honestly. Yeah. Like I love Washington. I miss it. I miss the waves and stuff, but the ocean and the trees. But it's just so freaking depressing. It's so cloudy all the time. Couldn't do it. So this is a lot better for me. The sunshine and people, and there's just a lot of weirdos here, and they're like the nice kind of weirdos. So I fit in.
That's awesome. Well, excuse me. Well, they have a great entertainment scene too.
Yeah,
in Austin,
exactly.
From what I hear, I have a few comedian friends that moved down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've met a lot of comedians here who are all kind of basically doing exactly what I'm doing, just making their rounds at the venues and trying to make a name for themselves. I've been able to play a lot of shows in the year that I've been here, and it's incredible. I wouldn't have been able to do that back in Seattle.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, for sure. What got you into music? I've been meaning to ask that. Like, do you have an inspiration that you look up to, or?
Yeah. Well, like I don't know. I've always liked singing and stuff. Me and my sister would like sing around the house doing chores, or like I would sing in the shower and stuff. But so I'll take you all the way back here. I was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome when I was 9. And so that was really frustrating and hard for me. And I discovered eventually that basically I had tics, symptoms of Tourette's all the time, no matter what, like even when I was sleeping. And so it felt like there was no escape from it. And I was always like jerking my head and rolling my eyes and making weird noises and stuff. And I just, I couldn't knock it off for the life of me. And then I discovered that when I was singing, I didn't have any tics at all. And
that's awesome.
Completely. I don't know what it is. It's like that part of my brain was just occupied with music or something that it I don't know, but that's what I found out, and I was like super excited about it. And then lo and behold, I started singing all the time, kind of, much to my family's chagrin, just constantly in the car and in my room and all that stuff. And then you do something so often that eventually you're going to probably be pretty decent at it.
Right,
And
right.
I started recording myself on my phone or on my mom's like little digital camera or something, and then like listening back, and I'm like, yikes. And then I would work on that, and then I would get better, and then I'd record myself again. And then eventually I had enough people tell me that I should get voice lessons, because I was like so offended. I was like, how dare you tell me to get voice lessons? But they were actually encouraging. They were like, oh, I see a lot of potential. You should do something with it. So I did. And that's when like I became a singer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, because I remember back at Thrive, you were big into it. I remember, I think it was a small group. Pat asked us like what we want to do when we grow up or whatever. And you're like, I just want to sing, man. I was like,
yeah, sounds like me. That's still, I mean, that's exactly how I would say it. That's what I told. Well, I'm foreshadowing here, but that's what I told Keith Urban when he asked me what I wanted to do. Word for word. I mean, there's not really another option for me.
Right. No, I totally get that. That's how I am with comedy too.
Yeah.
But since you brought it up, what was that like singing with Keith Urban? Like first off, how'd that process go? Like, how did you land that?
So my mom is a big country music fan.
Okay.
I am not as much. And she listened to this one station, and was it 94.1? I think that was the one. And they announced some contest, like Keith Urban's rolling through, and he needs somebody to basically sing Miranda Lambert's part in this song. And he found a girl in each city that he went to sing that part. And my mom was like, look at this. You should do this. Please do this for me. Because she has like the biggest crush on Keith Urban. And I was like, not going to do that. I'm not a country singer. I was like definitely freaking had my head up my butt about that one. And then she's like, please just do it for me. Just humor me. And I was like, fine, when's the deadline? And of course I waited till the last possible second. Got it in like minutes before the deadline, as usual. And I listened to the song. I remember listening to the song and being like, it's a really boring song. The melody is super flat and not very interesting. And so I'm just going to risk it, and I'm just going to change the melody and see if he likes it, see what happens. I mean, the worst that they could say is no, but at least I gave it my best shot. So I did. And I guess it paid off, because they called me and said that they, the radio station reviewed it. Then they sent it to Keith Urban's people, and Keith Urban's people chose me. And then unfortunately the show was delayed a year because they had a death in the family. So I waited an entire year in limbo, wondering if it was even going to happen anymore. Did finally. And it was amazing. I mean, the first and only time I had met him was on stage, when I walked on stage to sing with him. So yes. It was cool.
No, that was super cool. I remember when you landed that gig. But you also had another really fun gig. You were on American Idol, right?
Yeah, sure was.
I'm curious to hear about that. What was that like?
I've never been sicker in my life, other than when I got COVID earlier this year. That was probably comparable. Really? Yeah, I mean, there's no words to how crappy I felt for a week straight. And also on top of that, I had to perform the best I've ever performed in my life.
Right.
Like, it's so, they nickname Hollywood Week Hell Week for a reason. Like, it is so brutal.
Is it really?
You're sitting in a room with 140 other contestants. It's literally a petri dish for germs. Yeah. So everybody's getting sick, like barfing their brains out. And then they're like, oh, it's your turn to get on stage. And we're like, great. And when you're not on stage, you have to sit and watch. And you just have to sit there and not fall asleep. And then you have to not get any sleep at night. So it's rough. But
that's rough.
Those are all the cons. The pros. I mean, I was on American Idol. And it was amazing. And I got to actually have a face-to-face albeit short, conversation with like Keith Urban and Lionel Richie and Luke Bryan. And like Luke Bryan gave me the best hug of my life to this day.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I mean, it was incredible. I learned so much. I became a better singer in 6 days. I could not believe how much I improved. And I made some cool friends there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an incredible experience, but the whole experience just from me going my first audition to the to Hollywood Week, to the end of Hollywood Week was like, it was like July to December. So just, even though it seemed like I was like barely on the show, it was a long process. So if I had stayed on, it would have been an entire year.
Okay.
But yeah,
I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, so it's like a commitment, but it, like, I am gonna try to audition again. I don't know. It's really cool. It's a really cool opportunity, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's cool to hear that you want to audition again for sure. What were the judges like? Like, did you guys get to like talk with the judges off camera or?
No, I didn't a lot. No, not really. Some people did, but I just didn't get that opportunity. But they were really cool. Lionel Richie was like, we nicknamed him the grandpa. Like he just had a very grandpa vibe about him. He was really sweet. Luke was very, very sweet. He seemed like exactly how one of my AirPods fell out.
No worries.
That's good. Okay. He seemed like how he seems on TV. I mean, he's really cool. Katie was she seemed a little bit more reserved. She did less talking. Oh, really? She probably did the least amount of talking than everybody, but I don't think she was feeling well that week because she was kind of sniffly and stuff. So, yeah, it was cool. Cool.
That's super cool. Do you still talk to anybody from the show, or like anybody you met, or?
Do I do? Yes, yeah. Like my friend Jake. I'm totally gonna shout out Jake Politti in Nashville. That dude has a voice. Oh, he's so good and an amazing songwriter. So anytime I go to Nashville, try to link up with him. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's a couple other ones that I just stay in contact with through Instagram. But he was my favorite. He got cut with me, so we shared this moment of like looking at each other and bawling our eyes out.
Yeah,
it was really cool. I could probably find the footage somewhere, but so we have a special connection in that way.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Brent, you're quiet. Do you have any questions?
Growing up, you said you did a lot of singing to kind of overcome your whole Tourette's, what you had going on there.
Yeah.
Is there a particular artist, or is there just like a particular genre that you kind of like dove into to kind of project who you were at the time?
Adele was by far. So the reason the probably the biggest reason that I really started to advance quickly and take music seriously was when I discovered Adele's first album, 19, when I was, I don't know, 15 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I still to this day, I don't know an album that well, like front to back, every nuance, every riff and note and melody I know so well because I would listen to it pretty much every day, definitely every Saturday on chore day. Me and my sister would listen to it, and then it would be done, and then we would just play it again and sing along to it. They were the first songs that I learned all the words to that I can remember. And also I only had like 4 CDs, so it was either Adele, or it was going to be Michael Bublé, or it was going to be the Hannah Montana soundtrack, or Jonas Brothers. So Adele usually won.
Because I mostly know Bublé through most of his Christmas stuff. My folks would always listen to when they dropped. He had like his whole. He tried to do Sinatra, and he did a very, very good his own personal twist for Sinatra when he would do his Christmas stuff. And
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of learned about Bublé.
I love Bublé, though. He's still one of my biggest inspirations. I mean, whenever somebody asks me my inspirations, it's like Adele, Michael Bublé, Alan Stone, Ed Sheeran, Jason Mraz. So, yeah, I mean, he's amazing. He was a big inspiration on my voice as well, or big influence. But yeah, anyway, long story short, Adele she's my queen. She is my queen.
No, she's definitely got a great voice. I admit I'll listen to her every now and then. But God, what was I going to ask? So you said you do a lot more shows in Austin. How often do you perform?
We perform. We're slowing down a little bit for the summer just because we have band members traveling and stuff. But we were usually doing 1 or 2 a week. We've had weeks where we've done 5 a week, and I wanted to kill myself. And we've had weeks where we do 3, and sometimes we have none. Like this weekend, we don't have any, just rehearsal. But it kind of varies. But I would say on average, it's about 1 a week.
Okay.
Trying to stay consistent. Yeah. And, we also aren't having to rely on music as our sole income because we all have day jobs, which knock on wood, I won't have a day job forever if I keep going like this. But, so we're able to, when we book shows, we're able to like book the shows that we want to do,
That's awesome.
Not just the ones that pay. So,
no, that's awesome. Another thing I meant to ask, how old were you when you first started singing?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to pinpoint because I always kind of sang for fun, I think. But I would say I really started singing like middle school, early middle school.
Okay.
And then I really took it seriously in high school.
Okay. No, that's super cool. And then let's see here. Brent, you got anything before we go to
go to our commercial with the wise words of Uncle Tony, he gives his advice. Is there any advice you would give to someone who would want to, say, audition for American Idol or just a singing gig in general? I know nothing about the process. I'm sure Brock knows a little bit about the entertainment, but I'm sure you especially would know something that you could share to someone who's listening or watching, something to help them propel forward.
I think that the art and the skill of being yourself should never be underrated and undersold. I think that it's kind of hard to pinpoint, and it's a little bit cliche to just say be yourself. But at the end of the day, what being yourself is. Go do that. And they might not like it. But the thing is, like, do you want to ever make an audition or make a career out of being anything but your 100% true, authentic self? Because I don't. Like, that's way too much energy. That's like being on social media and pretending to be somebody that you're not. I frankly don't have the bandwidth to do that. So I would say just like be yourself and have fun, and don't take it so seriously. A lot of me like really thought American Idol was like, I don't know, when you're in it, you have this mindset of like, this is it. This is be all or end all. It is, if I get cut, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. But that's not true. Like, there's always going to be doors after that. There's always going to be opportunities, and you can always learn from your failures. So take it seriously, but don't take it too seriously.
Yeah. No, that's spot on. That's really spot on.
Have fun and stick true to yourself. Brock, do you want to send it away to your special friend, Uncle Tony?
Yeah, we got Uncle Tony back. Let's see what wise words he has to say today.
All right, we'll be back after the break. What? And we're back with Living with Humor. Thank you for your wise words of advice, Uncle Tony. And remember, results may vary. Brock, take it away from here, sir.
Yeah, Uncle Tony's always got great stuff to say. So you do a lot of gigs. Do you have any interesting fan interactions or just stories from being on the road, or
We haven't been on the road much yet.
or just like shows in general?
We've got plans to, but
Nice.
shows. Yeah, see, we've played a lot of shows.
Yeah.
There's always a lot of drunk people who try to have conversations with you.
Yes.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes people try to get on stage. There was this one lady who like got on stage and started messing with the mixer, and she was blasted out of her mind.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just alcohol, it was something.
Yeah.
And I was like, kept looking at her like, what are you doing? And anyway, it was very stressful because I had to finish out the song. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
She was just over there like doing this and like playing with the mixer, and I'm just like, please go away.
Yeah.
She was trying to be fair, she was turning up my voice because she liked my voice, so that was nice.
Nice.
But also it was very uncomfortable for me, and I didn't know how to handle it. There was this one time really recently where we played this bar, this like outdoor bar place, and it's a really fun gig. We love playing there, but it's a little bit of an older demographic, and like middle-aged to older, compared to, you know, most of the places around here are really young people. And this, I'm going to make a generalization here, but older people really love to drink too. I mean, it's
yeah, they do.
Those people at that venue, especially, like really love to drink. So this one woman, she was very sweet, but she was very, very drunk. And she was having a hard time speaking. She was very drunk.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
And she was coming up to me. She came up to me during the break to talk, and I had to kind of wrap it up. And then she came up to me after the show and was talking, which I love talking to people after the show. Like, that's what we do. My drummer told me, he's like, you go talk to people, we'll pack up, don't worry about it. But, you know, before I know it, it's like 10 minutes, becomes 20 minutes, becomes 30 minutes, becomes 40 minutes. And I'm standing there and I'm like drenched in sweat. I just want to go home and I want to eat some French fries on the way home because I'm hungry. And she's like, we're talking about Queen for some reason. And she was like convincing me that Queen is the best band ever. And I was like, I know, like Freddie Mercury, I still think is the best vocalist to have ever lived.
Yeah.
And she continues to tell me about how Queen is the best band ever and like details their performance history for me, like detailed, and talked about all the band members in great detail and
so she was a super
and then she started going on this rant about America's Got Talent and how I should audition for it. And I was like, I have. And she's like, anyway, so when you audition for it, you should do this and you should do that. I'm like, I've already done it. That's okay. And she was really, really sweet. But she probably won't remember it at all.
Right.
And it was a long, long, long conversation, but like nothing so far, nothing super crazy has happened. I think when something like really crazy has happened, I think that's how I'll know I'll have made it, you know?
Yeah.
Because like the people who have the really fun show stories are like a little bit farther along, I think, in their careers. So I'm excited for that. And we're about to go on the road in August.
Nice.
So
nice.
I'm sure I'll have a lot of stories for you after that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Going on the road, it's never a dull moment.
No.
And then anytime you play bar venues, things tend to get a little bit crazier at the bars because I'm a bartender by trade. So it's like, there's so many stories of just being at a bar. I'm sure performing at a bar puts you in a whole different kind of spotlight because for whatever reason, people see you differently behind the bar. Like, oh my God, this guy's so hot. He's so amazing. It's like, I'm a 5'9", pretty average build guy. I'm like, I'm about as plain Jane gets. What behind this, little section of wood do you think is like it? So it's like, I'm sure like seeing you in a spotlight, everybody like, who is this?
So that's exactly the face they do. That's the face they do, though. It's like, I don't know. I have a little bit of imposter syndrome sometimes when I'm performing, and they're like, like we had this one show recently where these guys were so sweet. They were a little intoxicated. And they like bought my shirt like in the middle of the show. They like had to have one of my t-shirts, and he put it on like during the show and was like showing it to me like, look, I love you. And I was like, I love you too. Thank you. Because I don't know what to, and they were just so close to the stage.
Yeah.
And it's fun because, you know, sometimes singing the same songs over and over again can get a little monotonous, but what's not monotonous is there's a different crowd every night. There's a different energy every night, and you don't ever know what you're walking into. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's really entertaining. I'm never bored on stage, either because the music is keeping me entertained and interested, or the audience is, or a combination. Yeah. But I mean, that's really fun. I mean, the audience is the best part of performing. That's why I perform.
100%. Yeah. Audience. Yeah. No, absolutely. Even though they're usually drunk, but
we're really enthusiastic. So
yeah, there you go.
Fine with me,
You're welcome for giving the extra energy, you guys. You're welcome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sorry for their crass behavior, though. We don't control that aspect of things. Alcohol just brings out the inner beast in certain people, and sometimes it's fun. Sometimes you're kind of like, hey, whoa. Tone that down.
Yeah.
Keep your shirt on, sir. You're throwing your underwear at the lady on stage will not change anything of what's transpiring. She will not think any higher of you.
Yeah, seriously. Well, that is a funny thing too. The tips thing is interesting. If they give you more money, you're kind of like obligated. You feel kind of weirdly obligated to like have a conversation with them, or like play a song that they want to play. Yeah. Which I definitely do want to do that. Sometimes the songs just aren't in our catalog, but actually it's funny that the lady who was talking to me about Queen, she handed me like over $100 or whatever. She just was like,
awesome.
Here you go. And her husband saw it and he was like, what are you doing? And she's like, what? She's talented. She deserves it. And he was like, what do you do? And I like literally, I watched this like very serious marital fight happened right in front of me, and then I just like slowly backed away and started packing up my gear.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do with it. I'm gonna put it in my pocket, I guess.
Well, drunk people definitely tip better. So
there's a fine line between the right amount of alcohol where you're buzzing, and I've given you too much, and it's like I've always stayed closer to this side. It's like I don't want your money that much.
Yeah,
I want you to go home safely. It's like also. Some sober people have been the most questionable, because I was telling this story in another episode. There was an older lady in her late 70s who was like, here's $500. Come home with me. Like, yo, what? No, thank you. Flattered. No, thank you. It's like, you're very sweet, but that's very aggressive. It was like we were having a conversation, we were vibing because your husband cheated on you. Well, ex-husband cheated on you and was being just a jerk, and he was wanting to be a swinger. And then you're swinging out the gate with this. No, thank you. I'm good.
That's amazing. I mean, you could have adventure. It would have been a good story.
That is true.
Everyone always like went out for 1,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on, $1,000. I'm like, no, I cannot be bought.
I can't believe that happened. That's incredible. Tales of a Bartender. Wow. Fantastic.
It's not as exciting as you think or as glamorous. There's also the moments where the guys get too drunk. Like, I don't think I'm going to make it to the bathroom.
Oh, God.
I
wouldn't be able to deal with that.
Wait, do you still live in Gig Harbor? Do both of you live in Gig Harbor?
I just moved back to Gig Harbor from Bremerton. And then I'm actually moving to the East Coast next year.
You are? Where are you going?
Charleston.
I love Charleston.
That's I haven't been yet. I'm visiting it in October. It's really pretty from the pictures I saw.
It's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. How exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then I'll be there for maybe a couple years. And then after that, I'm actually either thinking Austin or Denver. So one of those two after that.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's bringing you to Charleston?
My buddy Justin, he's a comedian. We used to work together all the time.
We had him on
he was the first guest we had. And he the Navy shipped him out east, And the original plan was we were going to move to Denver. And then some stuff happened. He ended up re-upping with the Navy, and they shipped him to Charleston. And I was talking to him one day. I was, let's stick to the plan. I'll just move out there for a year or two. We can hit the ground running and start doing gigs together again. And so we'll see how it works out. I'm going to visit it first before I commit, just to make sure it makes sense. Because it's definitely a smaller scene than Washington and the Seattle area.
I'm just saying, Northern California.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. That I have thought about that.
I'm only an hour.
Is that where you are? Wait, Brent, where are you?
I'm in a very, very small town of Ione, California. It's like an hour southeast of Sacramento. It's a very, very country town. So me being a city boy, this is not my ideal location, but it's where I bought a house. So I was like, we'll make this work for the time being. And I have plans on being elsewhere in the next couple of years, but I don't really have any concrete ideas as to where that may be. I just kind of go.
I was about to ask, where do you plan on going?
I've discussed everything from moving to Texas, because Texas is blowing up right now. A lot of Californians are pretty much tired of California. So Texas usually pops up in the conversation. The Southeast usually pops up a lot. The Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia area, because everything's significantly cheaper out there.
Yeah.
And there's even been talks of out of the country, like either to the UK or Japan. So it's like,
really,
we'll see where things go. It's like,
you could move to South Dakota like my family did.
I don't even know what's in South Dakota.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Actually, Rapid City, South Dakota is growing rapidly.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. No, actually, though, it's becoming more. South Dakota is the fastest growing state in the country.
Really?
Not Texas and not Florida.
I did not know that. There. I would put money on Texas because everybody I talked to is like, I'm moving there.
Well, it's fastest growing per. I don't know exactly how they measure it, but basically, it's a smaller state than Texas. So maybe there's more people moving to Texas, but per capita, it's the fastest.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's made the biggest jump,
Because Montana is also on the rise of people from California going out there.
I love Montana.
Yeah, but people from California always try and bring their politics out there. It's like, no, we've been here.
Which
we know it's not
working.
With
Montanians.
Stop
right. Well, that's
everywhere.
That's what's happening in Texas, and it's a little bit annoying because I like the whole balance of Austin, it being like a blue city surrounded by a red state. I think it's really cool because you have a lot of differing ideas and people who generally have figured out how to get along within those ideas. But there are a lot of people moving from New York and California and stuff like that who are coming in, and basically it feels like they're trying to turn it into LA, and it's like, no, this is Texas still. It's Austin, but it's still Texas.
Texas,
And the natives the locals here are really trying to uphold that as best they can, but they're outnumbered. They're way outnumbered. Most of the people I meet here are not from Austin.
Because they're either outnumbered or the people that are moving there got bigger pocketbooks, and the pocketbooks usually change.
That's true.
This small town is having a lot of people move out here from the Bay Area who got big bucks to throw around this town as old money. So people who are younger with money show up, they can kind of force their ideals in. There's nothing that can be done because as much as we love to say everything's efficient and working and there's no corruption anywhere, we all know that people are like, oh, hey, here's $100 this handshake. Next thing you know, things are wheeling and dealing, and their agenda is being pushed a little bit faster. So.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to watch, especially the housing prices and stuff with Californians coming in and paying unbelievable amounts of money for really crappy houses. It just makes it impossible for anybody who doesn't have that deep of pockets.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I knew what I signed up for when I moved here. I knew that it was going to explode. I knew that Austin was growing rapidly. And I also am banking on that because it's benefiting me. The more celebrities and well-connected people who move here, the better. I mean, it just keeps raising my chances of meeting somebody who,
resonates with you and wants to help you.
Yeah. And also just, I love being around. I want to immerse myself in the entertainment community and
Yeah.
industry, and that's why living in a pretty small town in Washington was not necessarily
Yeah.
the right move for me anymore, because
Yeah.
there wasn't anybody around like that.
Yeah.
So Austin, with all the high housing prices, it's annoying, but with that does come more opportunities. So
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's
all three
give
of
and
us were
take.
in Gig Harbor at some point, I'm sure, and it's like we can all attest that it's not really going to ever grow up that way. It's a
No.
small city town. People move at one pace, and it's
Yeah.
Well, it's a retirement community now. Like,
Yeah.
and it's a
yeah.
very nice retirement community. But for those of us who are trying to always striving for more, want better
Yeah.
for ourselves, and want to further our outreach and our influence, so we can live the lives that we feel that we could
Yeah.
work very, very hard for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not it. It's a place I always fondly think of as home, but as far as
Same.
Right.
getting the
Yeah.
goals and everything that we want done for ourselves, each what uniquely, not it. Because like Gig Harbor served its purpose in the fact that I met Brock. It's like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
been my brother for like 14 years now. We're not blood, but
Yeah.
we met and we've been through so many different like life circumstances. And then I'm sure you met so many people through Thrive. You're like, yep, this are my family members. These are the
Yeah.
people that I resonate with.
Yeah.
So it's Gig Harbor served its purpose. And then
Yeah.
I agree.
so
It's a great place to raise a family,
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful. And that's why I was like, I'm so glad that I was raised there, and I was homeschooled. So like if I were to be homeschooled anywhere else, I think it would probably have been a lot lamer, because I was surrounded
Yeah.
by so much gorgeous nature and a lot of land,
Mhm.
and pets and animals and stuff. And like, I don't know,
Yeah.
I was happy. I was happy. I had a good growing up there. But yeah, at a certain point it was just like, okay, well now I want this big, different, crazy thing that my
Yep.
family doesn't want. So they're going to move to South Dakota and I'm going to move to Austin. So,
it's like Tacoma is a pretty decent scene. Seattle's a pretty decent scene, but there's
I
only
like
so
Tacoma.
high you can go before you're like,
Yeah.
there's a
I
threshold.
peaked here. I gotta go
Yeah.
somewhere else. I gotta
Yeah, I feel like I
expand my
peaked there.
influence here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and that's like even with comedy, like all my friends that have broke through that barrier, they didn't do it until after they moved out of Tacoma. Like
Right.
Kelsey Cook, as soon as she moved out, she broke through. My friend Ken Hamlet, like you don't make it in Tacoma or Seattle.
Yeah,
Now you can kind of
exactly.
like make your bones, so to speak. You can kind of make the foundation for what you want, and then be like, all
Right.
right, cool. I know who I am. I know what I'm about. Let's transplant me somewhere else. See if I can grow here, and then next thing you know, just naturally,
Yeah.
you got your house foundation coming in. You're good to go.
Yeah.
You got to expand. You got to move. You got to learn new things. I mean, what was it like moving to Texas? From what all it sounds like, being an extremely sheltered girl to now, here's the whole wide world of Texas. You're like, what the heck is going on over here?
Okay. To be fair, I wasn't extremely sheltered.
Okay.
But I was like relatively sheltered.
Yeah.
There's a culture shock to it for sure. But also I had moved to North Carolina, and lived in a military town. So that was also a culture shock because I had no experience with the military.
Yeah.
Living in the South, it's a very different group of people and way of living and culture. And I had no idea how different it would be. I didn't think that people actually talked with that kind of Southern accent. Like I honestly, truly thought that most of the time it was just hyperbolized for TV and movies. But there are people who have
funny.
very thick Southern accents.
Yeah.
And I like picked one up when I was there.
Oh,
And
did you?
yeah, it's really hard to get rid of. I still can't say like North Carolina. I still can't say it normally.
Yeah, that
Like,
is
I
it's
say it,
right at the end there.
yeah, I say it like I'm from North Carolina. But anyways, moving to Austin, yeah, it's just culture shock. I've never lived in the big city before. So the traffic is like super fun for me. And there's a lot of different, as mentioned previously, there's just a lot of different types of personalities and people here. It's a big melting pot, which is cool.
Yeah.
But it's also, I just don't have a lot of the experience to know how to like handle that, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what the right word is. But like, for instance, yesterday, for the first time, I witnessed a homeless man masturbating right outside my place of work. So,
Oh, fun.
and then he made eye contact with me, and I will never be the same. There's one example.
She saw a homeless man's vinegar strokes. What a day.
Yeah. So there's just one example of how, a culture shock. We'll call it a culture shock.
Yeah. That reminds me of working at the pawn shop, but there's a lot of crazy homeless stories. But yeah,
they don't take no for an answer though. Sometimes, like,
no, they don't.
Yeah. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs.
Exactly. Yeah, drugs no es bueno.
No, we've had a couple homeless people outside the bar, and one of them did get arrested because he kept trying to suggest that one of our other bartenders should get to know him in a familiar fashion. And it's like, and she's a lovely woman, but she's happily married. There's no business for her to be around anyone of that nature in that way. And we will firmly every time 86 you if you ever get too
86.
Goodbye.
I worked in restaurants, so I understand that.
Yeah,
you are 86, sir.
Is across the way, so it's like I don't really have to do much. It's just kind of wave them in. They'll come out from their car and be like, "That's it. Goodbye.
Yeah,
won't see you again for a while."
I feel like I need to become a bartender just for the material alone.
Yeah.
You see the best and the worst in society as quickly as possible, but you get really, really well versed in being political in the sense that you have to navigate all these conversations. People want to talk about the hot buzzing topics, and then especially with what's going on in the world right now, you're just like, trying to pick and choose what your points are, how to navigate this. But anyway, how's your beer? Can I get you another one? Would you like this food item? Can I get you a snack? And just try and work around it. He's like, well, you didn't answer my question. Well, I really don't feel comfortable answering that question because I don't know anything about this topic. I'm not going to just misinform opinion out the other end. So it's
you have to be very diplomatic. I mean, I was a server for a long time and I had to deal with that stuff. And even just at gigs and stuff as a musician, they'll like, it's amazing. People will try to talk about politics with you.
Yep.
Anywhere at any time. I'm like, what? I don't understand how you think this is appropriate. Like, whatever happened to time and place? And also, I don't know you. Why are you asking me my opinion on, you name it, whatever hot button issue? Like, I'm not going to answer that because this feels like a trap. So nice try. But you have to be really diplomatic about it and just kind of smile and laugh it off and then segue into something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like when you get the bridesmaids for the bridal showers come in, they're hyper aggressive. You get the older cougar crowd who are very, very, very aggressive. I've had a woman who got so drunk she was reaching for her purse, and like I know she was reaching for her purse, so I didn't take it all that personally. But she reached and she was like falling down drunk, and then she reached and like she just grabbed my ass and literally just palmed it to hold herself up, and I'm just, well, this is happening now. All right, this is how my day's going.
Yeah, great. My favorite thing is when older gentlemen who are intoxicated think that it's appropriate to put their hand on my shoulder or my arm or my hand or whatever when they're having a conversation with me, and I'm just like, no, you can speak to me without making physical contact, please.
Yeah.
And I try to be. It's hard because you have to be respectful and diplomatic and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the really hard part, is because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to offend anybody. But more than anything, I don't want to make anybody mad and then put myself in a vulnerable position, because you don't know where anybody's snapping point is.
Yeah, well,
You
especially
don't
when
know what they're
alcohol's
capable
involved.
of.
Yeah.
Especially with alcohol, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that part's pretty fun. But usually I have my band behind me. When anything like that happens, I'm usually with my band. Or most of my friends here are guys, so I feel pretty well protected.
Yeah.
And like also is like just a word to the wise, gentlemen, if you are watching this podcast, if you've been watching up to this point, if a woman wants you to put your arm around her or on her shoulder, she'll usually let you know verbally. You don't ever just
or she'll do it first.
Yeah.
You don't make the moves on your own. There are strong signs. It's called, you want to follow a certain procedure for it, and usually the loud drunk guy who's just throwing his arms around women, you're usually very unsuccessful. I've never seen it work.
Well, I can usually tell when it's kind of harmless too, when they're just like kind of drunk or whatever, and they're just like, let me give you a hug, and I'm like, okay, and I'll play on, and that's like, I wasn't harmed in that situation, whatever. I'm not gonna freaking slap a guy for hugging me, it's just some people, like, when they seem more calculated about it and their movements are slower,
they're a little bit
that
away
makes
from the
me
crowd.
that makes me think that you are conscious enough to know what you're doing, and I don't think I should trust you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they're more sporadic and all that stuff, I'm like, you're probably just drunk and you whatever. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Be gentlemen, guys.
Gotta be vigilant.
Be gentlemen.
Yeah. Yes.
Treat everyone the way you want to be treated. Let's treat women like they were someone you genuinely cared about for a long, long time. Don't be a sleazeball about it. Be that girl you've been fawning over for years, and you're trying to work your way up to the courage to kind of be like, hey, this is how I feel about you. This is how long I felt about it. Court her, woo her. Don't be creepy as hell.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
That's what it boils down to. Don't be creepy.
And then while we're just kind of like on the topic of questioning, is there like any other road stories you want to get to, or is there any questions for me and Brock that you kind of want to ask in a reverse interview process to kind of close that?
Yeah. Well, quick question, Brent, have we even met? Because like I recognize your name, and I don't remember meeting you.
It's nice to have my name recognized, but twice. I went a couple times.
Yeah.
I was dating one of the girls who was hanging out there for a little while, but like nothing ever came of that. We broke apart very amicably. That was probably one of the few breakups I've had that was very, very like, you know what? I don't think this is working out.
Nice.
I was at Thrive for a while, but I went to Life Christian with Brock.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a long, long time. So it's like if my name came up back then, I can't imagine it was good. I wasn't the best behaved, nor was I in probably the best headspace to be the right guy I should have been. I wanted to be a better person, but like high school,
we were both.
I was kind of a dick. I wasn't.
I mean, who's their best self when they're in high school? True.
Right.
There are very few people. We had a guest on last week, Abby, who's probably one of the few people who's like, yep, you passed all flying colors. You were exactly who you meant to be. You knew who you were. There was no shenanigans to it. She was.
Wow, that's impressive.
She was 100% about her faith, and that was it.
Yeah.
There was nothing else going on. There's not even a rumor or people saying she did this. There's none of that. It's like even private Christian setting, there's rumors and traps, and people say and do certain things. Like, I'm protecting myself. I'm protecting my virginity, or I'm protecting my image, or whatever the case may be. It's like, are you really? Are you sure? I was like, but Thrive was probably one of the most genuine places. But there was just certain people I was like, I couldn't separate image of the people that were there and what they were about. I couldn't weed my way through that when I was in high school. My head was still pretty far up there.
That makes sense though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see, questions. Brock, when did you hit your growth spurt?
I don't think I had one.
She's just like, I finally got that in there.
I'm sorry, I'm such a dick.
Totally fine. That did catch me off guard, though.
I was waiting for someone to ask. It's been so many episodes. I was like, someone's gonna do it. Because people are usually like, Brent, who the hell are you? And why have we never met before? And Brock is always just like, yeah, I know of you. Just gotta wait for that one height joke to kind of slip its way in.
Hey, that's a new record, though. Now we're in.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Got all of us to laugh.
I was like, this is risky, but I'm going to go for it.
We hit the full
well, you've seen my jokes. You're not going to offend me.
That's what I figured. I was like, he's a comedian. He's got a great sense of humor. You gotta, if you can dish it out, you gotta be able to take it. That's what my mom always taught me.
Exactly. Which, surprisingly enough, not a lot of comedians can take it.
I know. How ironic is that?
Yeah. No, comedians are some of the most sensitive people I've met. It's ridiculous.
You're telling me.
I mean, same with musicians.
Yeah. I think just artists in general.
Yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say you've gotten a little bit more sensitive in your wizened age, Brock.
A little bit, not much.
Maybe it's just I know what buttons to search for. Because I mean, like after like
that's true.
14 years, it's just like, boop. Like, you just gotta easily look at it and figure out like what people's quirks are, and like, how they operate.
Oh yeah.
Like, especially like in the bar scene, like after a while, you kind of like able to look at someone and be like, all right, cool. I got a generalization of who you are.
Yep.
I can kind of pick up on what makes you tick. So go from there.
It's a good skill. Profiling.
Hot take. It helps in retail.
Profile everyone.
It's an important defense mechanism. Like since the dawn of humans, like we've needed to make generalizations about each other in order to protect ourselves. That's right. I mean, that seems.
Yeah.
As far as like breaking up fights, making sure women don't go home with the wrong guys, and all of a sudden girls will always be like rely on the bartender because you're kind of like in a way, and this is a huge generalization, so I apologize if I offend anyone. It's kind of like you are their either their brother figure or like their gay best friend. They're like, all right, talk me through it, give me the advice, give me the 411, like where's he been, what's he do for work, does he seem like a good guy?
Yeah,
and you got to be 100% honest and be like, even if I'm absolutely ruining this guy's chances with her, I'll be like, yeah, no, not him, and not at all. He doesn't really work all that much. This is like the fourth girl he's tried picking up on tonight.
Yeah,
this is not a good idea. So
that's cool though. Like, I love that you're using your your position to be able to see everything in the bar for good, and like trying to look out for people. That's cool.
Yeah.
You never want to be in a position where you had the ability to be able to control the situation and just let it get out of hand, and then people be like, hey man, I trusted you, what the hell? I'll be like, oh
yeah, true.
My bad.
Yeah,
I don't want to be part of that kind of an influence anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
So do you have any upcoming projects or shows? I know I want to plug your music video, but this will drop July 20th. Okay. So do you have any anything you want to promote that's coming out?
So we're always playing shows and we're always picking up new shows. RuthieCraft.com has all of the shows listed. I don't always list all of them on social media. Yeah. So if you're looking for that, just RuthieCraft.com. We do have one show, I think July 31st at it's called Banger's Sausage House in Austin. I'm really excited about that one. So it's a cool beer garden outdoor thingy. So that'll be July 31st. And then right after that, we're actually doing a South Dakota tour, Black Hills tour in August.
Okay.
For a couple weeks. So there's the Sturgis motorcycle rally that happens around that time. And so we're going to be touring around that area, playing some shows. Nice. And it'll be our first ever tour as a band. So I'm really excited. Yeah, it'll be, I mean, hopefully things will go well. I'm expecting a lot of things to go wrong because that's just how it goes. But I'm super excited about that. So if anybody's in that area, come check us out. And then I will have a new single releasing in August.
Nice.
I don't know the exact date. I won't say the exact date yet because I'm not totally sure. But it'll be around August 20th.
Okay.
So
cool. We'll really definitely keep an eye out for that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been to Sturgis?
Yeah, because now my family lives in South Dakota now. They live in Rapid City. So I've never been to the rally, to the motorcycle rally, but I've been around those areas. I've played shows up in South Dakota before, just because I've made some friends up there, some musician friends. So
yeah, the rally is definitely interesting.
I can imagine. I'm excited.
Yeah, I
about
did it back in 2018.
Oh, cool.
It's just one giant party, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm counting on it. That's dope.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited.
You're going to have fun.
And then we'll be sure to plug all of your socials in the links below. Be sure to check her out, everything she's got going on. Once your video drops, feel free to drop it by Brock. We'll promote it all over the page and anywhere else you would like it to go. So, again, we thank you so much for your time, because I know you've got a very, very busy schedule. Brock, is there anything else you would like to plug before we wrap this sucker up?
Well, we still have the reverse interview, unless the growth spurt was your question.
Honestly, that's the best one I came up with.
Nice. No, I guess that's it. Make sure to check out Ruthie's content. We will include all the links down below, and definitely check out her music video. I've seen it a couple times. It's great. But yeah, I think that's a wrap.
All right, guys, thank you for checking out another exciting episode of Living with Humor. Be sure to check out everything Ruthie Craft has done, and then everything that Brock's got up going on his tour of comedy, ruckus, and shenanigans, because wherever Brock goes, shenanigans will follow. Thanks for checking out Living with Humor. I've been Brent. This is Brock. Ruthie, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.